Hey, deserving listeners, Love is Blind. Let's watch.
I mean, I respect like how you're embracing the experience, but maybe sometimes you gotta take that risk. I can see myself falling in love with you. I can see myself just doing life with you, and
Yeah.
He's recovering a little bit. When he closed the book, I think he wanted to leave right in that moment. I think he was panicking. And then she, in a functional way, was like, wait, are you faulting me? And that's a way of communicating, like, wait, what's happening here? And then he's, oh, no, I'm just testing you. And then he, I think, is starting to recover a little bit. He's reiterating, I'm here for you. I really, really want to be with you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. That's vulnerable. So the pendulum is swinging the other direction. Let's see how he manages this moment.
I feel like I'm taking risks with you and putting myself out there, and I need you to do the same for me.
You don't think I have?
No, I think you have, but I mean, I think you're keeping your options open. I guess in the real world, I would politely walk out this door.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with what he's saying, because that is normal, right? If you're in love with someone and they're just like, yeah, I'm not really quite sure, I'm dating someone else. In the real world, you'd be, what? Okay, well, I mean, maybe you wouldn't run away completely, but it's a very specific kind of situation. And he's saying, in the pods, it's very different than in the real world. And he's saying, and he's operating differently in the pods because it is a different situation. And he's saying what a lot of people would feel in this moment. I don't think it's a good play for Mike. I think he should stick around and just have a good date with her, and certainly not leave the pods, right? And because this happens sometimes, but sometimes this works in their favor, in the Mike's favor. The people like that. It one kind of puts the screws to the Megans, but it also communicates, look, this is a big deal to me, and this isn't casual. This isn't light. I've got a lot of my heart involved in this, and until I get that indication that we're good and we're moving forward, like I feel like this is really hard for me. And he's kind of communicating that. But like I said, I don't think the look on our face doesn't indicate that this is a good move for him to do. By the way, if you ever see me watching a clip and there's no sound, it was likely because there was a copyrighted song and I couldn't get it past the YouTube algorithm, even though this is fair use. So I just want to say that, because sometimes after I've recorded it, I'm editing and I'll upload it, and then, or I'll just know that the song is, because a lot of the songs they play on the show, like 99% of them are not copyrighted, or they're not the sort of songs that get flagged on YouTube. But every once in a while they'll play like an actual hit song, like HOTTOGO, I wrote this beat for you so I could sleep with you. That song, right? I heard that song in the wild the other day. I just want to say that because I'm kind of a stickler for the edit making sense, and I would hate for people to think that I'm a bad editor. Or just thinking that their computer died or something.
Just not feeling like I'm giving you the reassurance that you need.
Maybe a little bit, but it's okay.
Yeah, they're both handling it really well. She's like, so are you not getting the reassurance that you need? And he's like, yeah, maybe a little bit, but it's okay. So this is all really functional and expected, and he's not leaving, so that's good. He's like liminal space, and I can escape if I have to. This is too much, but I'm staying. I'm gonna make myself kind of stick around because I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to lose her. So yeah, on the scale of things, but like I said, I don't think this is a good move for him. I think he should stick around and tolerate it and change the subject. Like, that's what I often think on Love is Blind when they get into these rabbit holes, is for the Mikes of the world just to be like, okay, well, let's reset, and can we talk about something else? Because this is actually, I feel like we've exhausted this, and you're still figuring it out, which is fine, but let's talk about something else. Even if it's a serious topic, let's talk about life, or let's talk about marriage, or let's talk about kids, or let's just talk about sex again, because I didn't show those scenes, but they were talking about that.
Well, it's not. I mean, I can tell you're annoyed or pissed.
No,
I don't know.
I promise I'm not pissed, I promise.
Well, you're putting your shoes on, you're about to walk out the door, like...
Yeah, he is handling it well. She's handling it really well. She is communicating in a very differentiated way, in a very understandable way, healthy way. I'm just like, I don't understand, why are you doing it? Because that is what he's doing. He literally said, I'm doing this to test you. And yeah, like I said, if this is in that portion of the 10 days where she was expecting to sit down with him for 6 or more hours and he's walking out a half hour into it, what's happening? But this is something that she would probably benefit by seeing, because I think in the real world, he probably does this more so. So maybe this is informative for her.
Another very strong connection.
I want you to want
And I don't know what to say. I've never been in this situation.
It's okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of health happening. She's talking about that experience that a lot of people have in the show and saying it pretty well. It's just like, I've never been in this situation. It's weird, you know, I had this other connection. So I imagine this could be actually more concerning for him, because the way she was putting it earlier was, at least in my interpretation, was her saying, you just got to give me time and I'll break up with Jordan, essentially. But now that's not what she's saying, right? She's saying, I don't want to break up with Jordan yet, because I don't know if he's not the one, right? So I could see Mike getting particularly triggered by that. I don't know. But he is noticing that she's crying, and he cares, presumably, and is getting even closer and saying reassuring things. He could do better by saying, okay, I'm not leaving. I'm sorry. I was freaking out. I'm not leaving. I'm here, and I get it. And I'm sorry if I'm putting the screws to you. It's just hard, you know. He could cry too.
I'll shine up the old brown shoes, put on a brand new shirt.
I do feel very strongly for you, and I am falling in love with you.
If you say
I'm falling in love with you too, and
that you love me,
it's hard for me to...
I knew this song was a cover, and I was like, I know those chords, and it's didn't I? It's by Cheap Trick. Didn't I see you crying? Oh, didn't I see you cry? Right? That's the song. Wait.
I will...
Right. Yeah, it's a great Cheap Trick song. I imagine most people watching the show wouldn't know that song, because that's even kind of before my time. I think I was in a cover band once that played that song. It's a fun song to sing.
You need to follow your heart and trust the process and take your time. I just want you to know that I'm serious about it.
The editor has to dial back the music. And the lyrics especially. I can barely hear. I have to have subtitles on to watch a reality TV show in which two people are having a very important conversation. It's like this, you know, I like this original song. The cover is fine, I guess, and it is interesting when you put it in this sort of ballad, slow, sad song format, because the original is like an upbeat sort of song-ish. So it does change the meaning of the lyrics to some extent. But anyway, let's rewind this.
that you love me.
It's hard for me to fathom that. I will respect that you need to follow your heart and trust the process and take your time. I just want you to know that I'm serious about you.
You know when you're at a restaurant and the music is too loud, or you're at someone's house and they have a new stereo and they turn it up too loud. I've been guilty of that at times. I hate it when other people do it, and so in the last number of years, I will when I put on music in my house, I will default to having it really low unless I kind of know that it's okay to turn it up. You know, case by case basis, but on average, you either want the music to be not heard or barely heard when you're having conversations, right? Depending on the situation, but. So I feel like whoever edited this really liked this song and just was like, because it messes with your head, especially if you've been editing something for a long time and you know the dialogue really well and you don't understand how to mix things. And so, I don't know, it's just really bad. As a musician and producer, I've run into that where I will be mixing a song over and over again, and your brain can't really hear things well. And then I'll listen back to what I mixed like a week. I'll always do that. I'll take like 1 or 2 weeks off and I'll listen to it. And I'll be like, oh my God, the drums are too loud, because your brain just can't. So someone fucked up on the mix.
Do babe, Jesus.
I like the sound of that. It'd be nice if I could kiss you after you said that.
Come through this wall.
I would. So I'm not walking out on you, but I'm gonna leave you a little early.
Yeah, I really think it would be helpful if he could be meta and have some meta about his process. You know, the meta level of looking at himself and saying, I'm not leaving to test you. I mean, maybe there's a part of that, but that's not what I like about this. I'm leaving because this is actually really hard for me. I'm freaking out and I just need a break. Maybe give me 15 minutes or something, because I just need to get away. And we can use this as a jumping off point. In conflict for avoidantly attached people, I have many of them in my office, and this is always a conversation of how they can have a meta understanding, a differentiated understanding of that impulse to get away. Not that they necessarily don't get away, but that they tell their partner, I'm freaking out and I have to separate for a second and I'll be back, right? For the classic avoidant preoccupied combo, what the avoidant person typically will do is like, I'm done, and they'll just walk away. And the preoccupied person, when they're triggered, when they're in conflict, they pursue. They will demand, right? And so it just creates this pursuer distancer, right? The more it happens, the attack happens, and then the more distancing, I'm done. Oh, I'm not even in this relationship. Da, 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 da. And then it's a self-perpetuating cycle, what we call a systemic, mutual causality, a circular causality. And so it'll do that. And so when, as an avoidant person, especially in the interim before you can really heal, so you don't, because down the road you wouldn't need to leave, but that's hard to achieve in the short term in therapy. And so as you are about to turn, as the avoidant person, you say, I love you, and I am freaking out, and I'm doing that thing where I need to distance for a second, but I'll be back. Because what avoidant people do is they say, I'm done and I never want to talk about it. And there's no indication that they're willing to re-engage. And that absolutely freaks out the preoccupied person. So if you could say, I need to separate, but I'll be back. Now, that doesn't guarantee the preoccupied person won't pursue, but it can help. And with a lot of repetition in conflict at home, coming into therapy and talking about it, conflict at home, they can start to manage that better. Because what I'll also say to the preoccupied person is, you can't pursue someone that doesn't want to be pursued. You can't demand that they talk to you. That's not okay. That's abusive on some level. So you can't do that. I get it, but you're going to have to, but avoidant person, you can really help with that by saying, I love you, and I need, give me 30 minutes and I'll be back and we'll definitely pick this up again, or something like that. Or I just need a little bit of a break and we'll talk about it later tonight, or something like that. That can be really hard though for avoidant people to do. It's easier said than done. And then for the preoccupied person, they have to do their work as well, of listening to that, having other ways of soothing themselves, being meta understanding, a differentiated understanding of their own impulse to pursue. They, in the moment, will feel like the only answer to life is I have to end this conflict. I have to re-engage with this person. And that is not true. You don't have to end the conflict right now. That's not a rule of the universe. That is the way it feels. It's a panic, but there's no actual danger. If anything, to assume that is to danger a relationship because it creates more volatility, more aggressiveness, more demanding, more pursuing, more involuntary communicating, right? And that'll push the other person away. So it's hard for everyone, but, So I think they're managed. It sounds like she's reassured a little bit about it, but I don't know. All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle, in which I react to Love is Blind Season 9. And tune in next time when I continue watching. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.